There comes a time in a man's life when he understands that not all truths are spoken. Some are felt in silence, in stillness, in touch, especially in the quiet moment when a woman leans in for a hug. Most see it as a routine gesture, a polite exchange, a moment of casual warmth. But for those who have lived long enough to know better, a hug is rarely just a hug. It is often the beginning of something unspoken, or the end of something never said aloud. A hug can reveal more than 100 conversations. In it lives affection, hesitation, trust, attraction, and sometimes even detachment. But to perceive it, you must be fully present, not just with your body, but with your awareness. The Stoics spoke often of attentiveness, not just to what is loud, but to what is subtle. The Stoic man observes the world without rushing to judgment. He listens not only with his ears, but with his eyes and his intuition. And in that calm awareness, he notices what others miss. Today, we turn that quiet lens of Stoic clarity towards something many men overlook. We'll explore 4 Stoic interpretations of a woman's hug, 4 distinct types of embraces, each carrying its own hidden message. You'll learn how to recognize when a hug is just a formality and when it's something much more intimate. You'll understand how to respond, not with eagerness or confusion, but with calm, grounded presence. And you'll see why, sometimes, the way you handle a hug says more about your value than anything you could say with words. Because in the end, a woman doesn't just remember the moment you touched her. She remembers how safe she felt in your arms, or how unseen. She remembers if you rushed, or if you stayed, if you understood, or if you simply reacted. So today, listen closely, not to the noise of the world, but to the silence between gestures. That is where a woman often speaks the loudest. And that is where the Stoic man listens best. 4 Stoic interpretations of a woman's hug. Let's walk together through the 4 most telling types of hugs and what they mean when seen through a Stoic lens. 1. The hollow gesture. The hug that ends before it begins. This is the quick, distant embrace. A formality. Polite. Safe. It's the kind of hug where her body leans forward, but her core stays away. You feel her hands on your back, maybe even a few soft pats, but her energy never really arrives. She's not cold, but she's careful. This is the hug of a woman who sees you as a friend, an acquaintance, or someone she's not yet emotionally available to. A Stoic man does not take offense. He does not mistake caution for rejection. He simply notes, she's not here with me, not yet. And so he remains composed. He doesn't try to impress or push closer. He respects the boundary. Then, with time, if trust and connection build, the nature of the hug may change. But if it never does, he knows to let go with grace rather than chase what was never his to hold. 2. The conflicted embrace. Warm arms, guarded heart. This hug lingers a second longer. Her arms tighten around you just a bit more. There's contact, but not full surrender. She might look you in the eye, she might smile, but there's a pause, a hesitation. Her body says she's comfortable, but her heart hasn't yet crossed the threshold of intimacy. The Stoic man sees this not as confusion, but as a test of steadiness. She may be unsure of her own emotions. She may be watching to see how he responds. Will he rush in? Will he pull away? The wise man does neither. He stays present, lets the moment unfold, and watches closely. A brief, firm embrace can be a gateway to something more, but only if he lets her walk through it freely. His stillness makes her feel safe to explore her own pace. The unspoken confession. When she doesn't want to let go, this hug is unmistakable. It's slower, deeper. Her body sinks into yours. Her breath slows. Her hands rest longer on your back. Her chest presses softly against you. When it's time to part, she lingers, just for a second longer than she needs to. This is no accident. This is vulnerability. It's an offering, unspoken but intentional. Here, the Stoic man does not freeze, nor does he pounce. He receives her warmth with a steady presence, and if he feels the same pull, he responds with subtle affirmation. A gentle hold on her lower back, a calm look into her eyes. Not to seek permission, but to acknowledge the moment. He doesn't speak more than necessary. In fact, often, silence is the most respectful answer to intimacy. 4. The surrendered embrace, when she finds shelter in you. This is the rarest of hugs, the kind where she rests her head on your shoulder, breathes against your neck, and lets her body soften completely. She is no longer testing, she is trusting. There is no tension, no calculation. She is not seeking a reaction, she is simply allowing herself to be held. To the Stoic, this is not a prize to be taken, but a trust to be honored. His role is not to escalate, but to hold space, to match her surrender with emotional strength, not lust but stability. He understands that in a world of chaos, a man who can simply remain present, without judgment, without need, becomes a sanctuary. And when she eventually pulls away, he watches. Not for permission, but for clarity. Does she look back? Does she smile softly? Does she move slower than she needs to? These too are part of the message. The Stoic man interprets these hugs not with arrogance, but with reverence. He knows that desire may be present, but so might be fear. He doesn't mistake every embrace for an invitation. Instead, he listens to the moment, and he lets her speak in the only language she trusts when words fall short: touch. And now that you've begun to understand how to read these subtle signals, the next step is just as important: knowing how to respond. Because sometimes, what you do in the seconds after the hug ends will say more about your character than anything that happened during it. Stoic response: read with presence, react with peace. When a woman hugs you with more feeling than formality, the untrained man becomes flustered. He either stiffens, unsure of what it means, or rushes in, eager to turn that single gesture into something more. But the Stoic man does neither. He recognizes that emotional energy often arrives not through grand gestures, but through the most ordinary ones. And so he pays attention, not with urgency, but with awareness. A hug, in its quiet simplicity, offers a moment of truth. It reveals comfort or discomfort, warmth or withdrawal. It speaks of her openness or her restraint. The Stoic knows that this isn't a test to be passed, nor an opportunity to be seized. It is a mirror showing you how safe she feels in your presence. And your response will either preserve that safety or shatter it. The key is presence. A man grounded in his being doesn't ask, "What should I do next?" He's too connected to the moment to entertain that kind of noise. He senses with calm clarity what the moment invites, and just as importantly, what it doesn't. That's the true art of masculine restraint. Not the absence of desire, but the mastery of its timing. When a woman hugs you longer than expected, when her breath slows, or her touch deepens, a boy sees permission. A man sees responsibility. He sees that she's letting down her guard, just a little. She's trusting you not to push, not to perform, but to stay steady. And that stillness, your willingness to meet her vulnerability with calm, is more powerful than any clever words you could offer. If you feel the pull to respond, do it with softness, not weakness, but grace. A hand on the lower back, a gentle pressure of the palm. No need to rush or crowd. A Stoic knows that confidence is often communicated through quiet control, not physical pursuit. She will feel that and trust it. Because you're not reacting out of hunger, you're responding with presence. What matters most is what happens when the hug ends. Many men think the moment is over when she lets go. But that's often when the real message begins. Does she hold your gaze? Does she smile or hesitate? Does she stay near or step away? These subtle transitions speak volumes. The Stoic man reads these cues not to manipulate, but to understand. And he never confuses stillness with inaction. It is precisely his calm that gives her the space to feel safe in deepening the connection, if she chooses to. To react with peace is not to be passive. It is to be self-possessed. It is to know your value so deeply that you don't need to chase, impress, or escalate. You simply show up fully and allow her to do the same. When a woman experiences that kind of presence, she doesn't feel pressure, she feels possibility. And in a world of noise, a man who brings silence becomes unforgettable. So the next time a woman hugs you, don't ask what it means. Feel what it is. Honor what she offers and respond, not from desire, but from strength. She will notice, not just in that moment, but long after. And now, as we move toward the final piece of this quiet conversation, let's reflect on why a hug is never just a hug for the man who has learned to see beneath the surface. What happens next can either build a bridge or burn one. The difference is how still you're willing to be within the moment. A woman's hug is not always a declaration. More often, it is a question, a whisper of possibility wrapped in silence. And how a man responds says more about his character than any word he could speak. In a world where so many rush to impress, to pursue, to prove, there is something unforgettable about the man who simply knows how to stay present. Not frozen, not passive, but grounded. We've walked through the 4 silent signals, each one subtle yet revealing. From the quick and distant to the lingering and intimate, every hug offers a glimpse into the emotional landscape between you and her. But the truth is, it's not just about reading her body language. It's about reading yourself. Who are you in that moment? Are you waiting to act or listening to what already is? The Stoic path doesn't ask you to suppress your instincts. It asks you to refine them, to lead with clarity, not craving, to feel desire, but not be ruled by it. And that's what makes you powerful. Not your physical strength or charm, but your emotional command. The ability to respond with calm, with presence, with care. That's what a woman remembers. That's what lingers. So the next time a woman embraces you, pause. Let the moment unfold without the pressure to fill it. Observe not only her breath, but your own. Ask not, what do I do now? But instead, what does this moment call for? That kind of awareness isn't just attractive, it's rare. And in a world desperate for attention, your stillness will be the thing that draws her closer. And maybe this isn't just about hugs at all. Maybe it's a reminder of how we show up in all of life's quiet moments. When someone reaches out, not with words, but with presence, will you rush past it, or will you honor it? Will you try to control the moment, or will you let it shape you? That's where Stoicism becomes more than philosophy. It becomes wisdom, lived. Thank you for spending time here. If this spoke to something inside you, stay with us. This channel, Ultimate Stoicism, isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about returning to what's essential: clarity, strength, peace. So if you haven't already, subscribe, leave a comment, share your thoughts. Your perspective might be the exact thing another man needed to hear today. And when you do, you don't just build community, you build clarity in the world. Until next time, remember, some of the most powerful moments in life don't need to be chased. They just need to be noticed. Stay steady, stay present, and above all, stay true.